Hey there, today I want to talk to you about the Soundtraxx Sound Car Decoder. Now, in case you don't know about this, Soundtraxx put this out a little over a month ago, and what they'll do is they'll replicate the sounds of your rolling stock, whether that's freight or passenger cars, which means that now you don't have to be limited to the sounds that are being played by the engine. Now the entirety of your train can have sounds. Now, before I go any further, I have to say this is a DCC only product, which means it will only run under a DCC signal. If you're like me and you run DCS and DCC, you can work this out simply by installing an on and off switch. So if you want to run the car under DCS, you simply flip the switch to off and this decoder won't be damaged. Now, in addition to all the sounds the decoder offers, it also allows you to install a handful of lighting effects, which are actually really neat. If you're using them, I suggest you get this current keeper. It's a plug-in accessory by Soundtraxx, and it will maintain the power to the decoder for up to 10 seconds during electrical interruptions. So your lights won't flicker and your sounds won't turn on and off. As you can see, it is roughly the same size as the Sound Car Decoder. And if you're into O-scale like I am, well, we have plenty of space to put this in, so that won't be an issue. One of the main sound effects the decoder has is the generator sounds, and that makes them perfect for reefer cars or modern refrigerator cars such as this Lionel Cryotrans mechanical refrigerator. Now, if you're not familiar with these Lionel cars, they are really well built, they have a really good weight to them. I think they have a decent amount of undercarriage detail and a good amount of separately applied details all over the body. For instance, on the other side it has a see-through grille, while on this side it has a sliding door which reveals the engine for the refrigerator. These cars are not without their problems in terms of scale, but overall I think they're really nice. They came with the 3-rail wheel sets and the 3-rail couplers, but I was able to convert it with a Northwest Shoreline's 36-inch wheel sets and KD couplers. I was able to keep the rotating bearing caps, and I think they turned out well. I think I was also able to take advantage of the decoder insofar as I was able to install 3 more lighting effects. I installed 2 indicator lights for the refrigerator engine, so this little hole that you see here lights up green, and there's another one on the other side. And I was also able to install end of train device, which I'll show you in a second. So this is what the end of train device looks like. I kit bashed it from a couple of different things I had laying around. I used balsa wood, wire, decals, and I definitely had to use a surface mount LED because those are really tiny and they allowed me to get the thing as close to scale as possible. It works very well. As you can see, I slightly weathered it and I'm very happy with it. I think it turned out well. Anyway, I think that's enough talk. Let's go ahead and see the decoder in action. The following are the sounds that the decoder plays while the car is in motion. My favorite feature is that you can apply the brakes and you'll hear the brake squeal until you reach 0. So let me demonstrate that for you real quick. I'm going to apply the brakes now. How cool is that? I really like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and see this thing actually running. I also installed a decoder in one of these MTH R142A subway cars. I've been working on this for quite some time now, and you know, there are work in progress. They'll be ready soon. I've had a couple of people ask me about the conversion, and that's really nice. It's very flattering, and I appreciate that. But I want to apologize also for not having a video of this out yet. Anyway, the installation for this was really easy. There's plenty of room in the car, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I did it. Go ahead and remove the shell here so you can see what the installation looks like. As you can see, I've worked on the interiors a little bit. I've added some figures and some handrails, and they look fairly nice. A nice thing about these cars is that they have this little piece here which separates the cab from the rest of the car, and that helps conceal the decoders. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in these cars for these things. The only compromise I had to make was to cut the little chair of the engineer here, and so the decoders could fit. But other than that, I didn't do anything else. Alright, this is the other side of the car, and these are all the wires from the decoder. I cut short the ones that I was not going to use, which are the output for lights. And I was left with the red, black, and the two purples. The red and black are the power feed wires, and the purple wires go to the speaker. I used a 1-inch 8-ohm half-a-watt speaker which fitted nicely on the bottom of this car. When the car is on the tracks, you cannot see the speaker, of course, and while this speaker is a little small for O-scale, it's more than enough for the kind of atmospheric sounds the decoder puts out. Anyway, this is the way I made the installation. Now let's go ahead and see this car running. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple of run-bys. Just remember, these subway cars are a work in progress. The car that you're seeing now is the one that has a decoder in it. As you can see, it's already running. but eventually it will go in the middle of the subway train. That's why it doesn't have any headlights or taillights. Anyway, let's go ahead and run it so you can get an idea of what the train looks like and sounds like. One of the nice features of these decoders is that all the sounds and the functions are CV programmable, which means that you can set them up to emulate the kind of rolling stock you're going for. And so, for instance, in the subway car, I set the flange squeal probability to a higher value. That way the subway will play those sounds more frequently. While in this car, I set the volume for the generator to a higher value, so the sound is a little louder. And I don't know if you could pick that from the video, but there's some differences between how I set this car and how I set this car. Anyway, I think that's it for this review. I hope you liked it. If you want to learn more about the Soundtraxx Sound Car Decoder, go to the Soundtraxx webpage where you can download the user guide and learn more about all the CVs and all the features that it has to offer. I hope you like this video and have a good one.